All right, doing another 3-round mock draft, continuing in the AFC North with the Cincinnati Bengals. Are currently picking at number 13 overall with a 6-8 record right now. Kind of been a disappointing season, I think, Dalton, for Cincinnati, and a big disappointment has been the defense. I think that's where we're going to be really attacking a lot in this 3-round mock draft. But again, I want to remind you guys, if you want to do your own mock draft, you can use PFF's Mock Draft Simulator at PFF.com. You can trade players, you can trade picks, you can control the Bengals, you can control your favorite team, your rivals team if you want to screw them over as well, or you can control all 32 NFL teams and do a full 7 rounds if you want to do it. We're only doing a 3-round mock draft here with the Bengals, but if you want to do a full 7 rounds, you can do it using PFF's Mock Draft Simulator. All right, let's pull it up right now. Bengals have the 13th overall pick. Like I said, we'll start the draft and see how the board falls to us here, Dalton. So, mentioned before how we want to get the Bengals, obviously a lot of help defensively. Nick Scorton went off the board 1 pick earlier. That was a guy
that would have been a guy.
I was eyeing Nick Scorton there for Cincinnati. So they have the 13th overall pick here. A lot of, I'm looking at what the Bengals fans do a lot of times in the mock draft simulator. 33% of them take an edge defender, 21% of them take a wide receiver. Now, there's one player here that I'm very high on that Trevor's not very high on, which is why he's still available here in the mock draft simulator. That's James Pierce Jr. I think James Pierce Jr. might end up being like a top 10 to 15 player for me in the draft. So for me, the discussion is around Pierce versus Emeka Egbuka for the spot as well.
There's one more name that jumps out at me there, and that's Ben Morrison at corner. I wouldn't hate that either. Look, the Bengals, other than Trey Hendrickson, they need help at just about every other spot on defense. So there's not really, even if it was, I know he's off the board, I believe, if Malachi Starks was sitting here, wouldn't hate it. If Ben Morrison was sitting here, I wouldn't hate it. James Pierce Jr., I think you could take your pick of any of them, but I get it. And I think, some of the motivation at edge defender might also be the fact that, one, you can pair someone with Trey Hendrickson and take the heat off him. 2, I believe Sam Hubbard just suffered a season-ending injury as well, and obviously he wasn't having a great year anyway, but now he's going to be going into next year coming off a knee injury, and maybe you could kind of reset on the other side. And oh, you're right. The idea of Pierce and Hendrickson rushing the passer seems like that's a problem for opposing offenses. Plus, Pierce has gotten a lot better in run defense this year, too.
He's gotten a lot better this year. And I think over the last 2 years, he's top 3 in both pressure rate and pass rush win rate among all edge defenders in college football. And he plays in the SEC. He's a true junior doing this. I mean, this is 2 straight years of elite production from James Pierce Jr., and he got a lot stronger in the run game as well. 32 on the big board right now for Trevor. It's still a first-round prospect, but Dalton, when I put together my big board, which will hopefully be pretty soon, I think I'll have Pierce in the top 10. I really think there's an argument for Pierce to be edge 1 in this draft. I still think Abdul Carter probably gets that spot for me, but I love James Pierce Jr.
And the Bengals, assuming they keep Lou Anarumo as their defensive coordinator, they really like those 2-point stand-up guys, right? And we've seen how much success Trey Hendrickson's had with it. He's the blind side guy. You put Pierce on that front side standing up on 2 feet. I mean, it's a problem. That's some serious speed coming off both edges, and I think the Bengals, look, next year, are they going to fix this entire defense in one shot? Probably not. They're probably still going to find themselves in some shootouts, so you might as well rush the passer when you're getting into those.
Yeah, 6th worst pass rushing grade in the NFL right now. So my vote personally would go to James Pierce Jr., but obviously this is a team effort we're doing here. What do you think we should do?
I can agree with that pick. I think, there's some other guys here off the edge. I think Shamar Stewart and LT Overton are some intriguing. Even Michael Williams, if they're going sheerly for just run defense, those are some other guys that I think might be a little better pure run defenders, but the upside with Pierce's pass rush game is just ridiculous.
Okay, so we'll go with James Pierce Jr. then. All right, I'm happy we're doing that there because I know I am very high on James Pierce Jr. compared to a lot of other people, but I do think he's a superstar, and I think he could be a really, really high pick in the NFL draft. All right, 45 overall now with the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's see what we're going to do here for the Bengals. I mean, wide receiver is still kind of a need for this team, Dawn. You can still go after defense, get a defensive tackle, maybe a corner. Ja'Day Barron's on the board.
That top guy is jumping out at me. We can take a look at receiver, or we could go with that in the 3rd round. But that top guy, especially with as much zone coverage as Anarumo wants to run, he can mix some things up. Barron's been spectacular. Thorpe Award winner, correct?
True.
I mean, that's about as good as you could get for a 2nd-round pick if you're looking for a corner. I think Barron would fit right in.
I kind of love it. Can we just take a quick look at the receiver list and just see who's available? Because I do think at 77 overall, I think this is where we wait on receiver.
See, Restrepo's the guy that I would want in this offense. Something about Joe Burrow and Xavier Restrepo just feels right. I mean, you have 2 guys with super high football IQs that know what the quarterback and what the receiver is looking for. That would be the one that tempts me there. But I mean, there's other options here. Torrey Horton to add some speed if you wanted a Tej Johnson. I think there's always options at receiver. It feels like there's more and more great receivers every year now, but I think for me it would be between Jahdae Barron or Xavier Restrepo.
My thinking is I think we go with Barron because I think the talent drop off at corner where we get to 77 just won't be there. Whereas receiver, I think, is a little deeper.
I think Barron would be a seamless fit.
Yeah, and I think Jahdae Barron has been the best corner in college football.
And even if you wanted him, we'll see if Mike Hilton is still there after this season or not, or if they're going to start shedding veteran guys. But Barron has been playing some in the slot lately too. If they wanted him in there, I think it'd be a great fit. I think he would add the perfect amount of talent to that secondary.
I agree. So let's go with Jahdae Barron here, and then see what the receiver class looks like in 77. Because I do think it'll be a little bit better. I think it's a little deeper at receiver than it is at corner in this class. So let's look at we have Tez Johnson there. Tez
Johnson's there. I'll tell you, even at tight end, Eli Stowers is there. And I'll tell you what, if we were staying on the defensive side, Lathan Ransom might tempt me too. We could just go all defense and go, you know what, because I believe he's got the highest run D grade of any safety in the country. He has had a breakout year, played the slot for several years at Ohio State before this season, moved back to safety with Caleb Downs back there, and they're the highest graded pair of safeties in the country. We'll talk a lot about Downs next year, but Ransom's been spectacular. I think he's just a good football player. Derek Harmon too.
Our producer Eli is screaming for Harmon right
now. Derek Harmon, you want more pass rush? Derek Harmon's a really good interior pass rusher. I know he's been getting some hype elsewhere as a potential even first-round pick. I don't know if I would take him way up there, but if he fell here, it's something you got to think of. Harold Fannin, Joe Burrow throwing a Harold Fannin would be fun too. I think we could go a
Keep
lot
in
of
Ohio too. Low moving costs for Harold Fannin.
That, 3 hours up the road, I think. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of options here. We do. I think it depends. If we feel like, okay, maybe we can fill in. We drafted Chris Jenkins last year for the interior. We still have B.J. Hill inside. I get the idea with Harmon for sure, because you're looking for more pass rush. If we wanted to load pass rush, we could do that. But we got options. We could go tight end. We got Mike Gesicki's on a 1-year deal. He may not be there next year. Fannin, Stowers. What do you think? What do you think makes this team the most dangerous?
My thinking is I like the Derek Harmon call, and also something we always do on the PFF College Football Show when we do our mock draft. So check out the PFF College Football Show if you can. But whenever the Bengals have a pick, we always let Eli do it. We didn't let Eli pick any picks here, and he made sure to call in and say Derek Harmon.
He wanted Derek. So
Harmon.
So you're just beefing up the pass rush all the way through, and we'll figure out the rest later.
Out of respect for diehard Bengals fan, our producer Eli, I think we go with Derek Harmon here to round out the mock draft.
I can see it. He was adamant. So what do we think then? Maybe we re-sign T. Higgins. And then
if you can,
if you can fit it. And
problem is, I think New England's going to give him the keys to the city, probably.
Him or Washington, or even Carolina. Yeah, that's true too. Well, Derek Harmon, we'll just fix up the whole defense for the Bengals.
Trust Joe Burrow to continue playing at an elite level.
They'll figure. He's Joe Burrow. That's what he does. He just needs a little help.
Yeah. All right. So we go all defense here for the Cincinnati Bengals mock draft, going with James Pierce Jr. at number 13 overall, Jahdae Barron at 45 overall, and Derek Harmon at 77 overall. Just trying to fix this defense. It's really been the undoing of the Cincinnati Bengals this year. But again, remind you guys, if you want to do your own mock draft, you can find it at pff.com for the Bengals or for any team in the NFL or all teams in the NFL. If you want to do it, a full 7 rounds is available to you guys as well with the PFF Mock Draft Simulator. But we're going to do more of these mock drafts very soon, continuing with the AFC North, through the AFC North as well. Every single division and every single team in the NFL will be covered in these 3 mock draft series. But for Dalton Wasserman, I'm Max Chadwick. We'll see you guys with our next mock draft coming out very soon.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can come one today.